I'm Olivia Coutre, and I will be talking to you about the Tri-State Tornado. It happened in March 18th of 1925, so it's happened a while ago. So the Tri-State Tornado was the deadliest tornado ever, and there was 695 deaths with more than 2,000 injured. It was also the longest lasting tornado ever with 3.5 hours of duration, and most tornadoes last around 5 to 10 minutes, so that's a lot longer than the average tornado. It was also the farthest traveling tornado. It traveled 219 miles, whereas most of them traveled 2 to 3 miles. It traveled at 62 miles per hour, and it was a 5 on the Fujita scale. It made damages around 16.5 million, but in around 2011 currency, that's 1.4 billion because that happened a while ago. This was the damage from the tornado. As you can see, it wiped out everything and was really devastating. These are the parts of the tornado. There's the supercell thunderstorm, the anvil, the mesocyclone. Then you have the vortex, which is extending to the ground where dust and debris swirl around it at the ground. So here it started in Missouri, it went up to Illinois, and then finished in Indiana. So that's why it's called the Tri-State Tornado, because it went in 3 different states. Here's a closer look, and you can see the main towns where it destroyed. And it began around at like 1 o'clock, in the afternoon, and ended around 4:30 p.m. To learn more about what happened in this specific tornado, I'm going to explain a bit about what happens in regular tornadoes, like everyone. So it starts with a supercell thunderstorm, where air is condensing and water is condensing to make clouds, and that is an exothermic process which releases heat. So there's rising hot air towards the clouds, and this kind of becomes circular because the air cools and then it rises again. And then a wall of moisture forms on the bottom of the cloud, and that's where the tornado will feed off of eventually. And then a mesocyclone is formed, and the air just keeps on circling around, and the hot air rises and the cool air sinks. And eventually you have a rear flank downdraft, which is the cooler air around it, and this air usually tends to be drier than the warm, moist air on the inside, so this causes the circling. And there's hot air that's coming up through the tornado, and then the cold air wrapping around it. What happened in this specific tornado was there was the continental tropical down here, so that is warm, dry air, and then we have the maritime tropical, which is warm, moist air because it's from the sea. And then you have the maritime polar and the continental polar, so these are both colder air masses that come down, and that's the frontal lines here on the edges of the air mass, and that's where the tornado will form. Something interesting is there's the yellow line here is the called the dry line, which is between the dry land from the continental tropical and the moist air from the maritime tropical. So with all these different masses, you have warm air rising and creating those flows in the mesocyclone. These are some more pictures of it. Obviously, it was a long time ago, so it's hard to get some good pictures. But that was the Tri-State Tornado. Thank you for watching.